What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune in and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to speak on some recent developments that went on with the that's going on with the WNBA and their I guess the negotiations and the CBA negotiations. And so now, as you know, the deadline for negotiation passed, right? It expired, and they wasn't able to come up with an agreement. But now, recently, the WNBA put out a, I guess I don't know, like a letter or notice that they were going to extend the season, the WNBA season. Now, why? Because they're extending the season, like this is not a good move for the Unrivaled League because they're going to add 10 extra games to Unrivaled. I mean, to the WNBA season, which means that this will cause the WNBA season to run into the Unrivaled season. And so you won't be, these young ladies won't be able to play for both leagues at the same time, and nor will they be able to like go overseas because some of those overseas leagues also interfere with the WNBA league. And sometimes you might have had players come back later, from like those leagues overseas. But now with them extending even longer, these young ladies won't have any choice but to uh, commit to either one of those leagues. Either you're going to play WNBA basketball or you're going to play in one of those European leagues or Project B or Unrivaled, right? You won't be able to do both. So what that means is with what's going on with as far as like the money situation. They offered them, I think it was like 4 times what they were already getting paid. So that's significant. So they offered them more money. They extending the season, and they won't be able to, like I said, they won't be able to moonlight and make money elsewhere. So that's really going to put in a way. I think if you making close to like $1 million playing for the WNBA, you don't really need to go overseas anyway. Well, I wouldn't think that you would need to go overseas because I don't think overseas is really paying that much money. Whereas though, it's worth your while to work or play both, in both leagues. So this is for me, I think is a move by the WNBA to get rid of this unrivaled league, which I don't think that the WNBA, in my opinion, really don't have a whole lot of competition from Unrivaled. Because when you think about it, the the WNBA players don't even play in Unrivaled. Like you don't have Asia Wilson, you don't have what's the other young lady, Angel Reese, you don't have Caitlin Clark. You do have players, Nafisa Kalia, she's hurt, right? And as the owner, so she's hurt. And you got to think attendance. I think down is now is I think it's down 2/3 from what it was last year. So they're getting less than half of the attendance in this unrivaled than they did last year. So it's not really the unrivaled league, in my opinion, is not really looking promising when it comes to like their projection for the future and will they be around, after this. I think that, but this decision by the WNBA is like the final nail in the coffin when you think about it, because I don't know how they're gonna survive like this. Like I said, these young ladies didn't step up to really protect this unrivaled league, which this is the league that came in, started by Nafisa Kalia and Breonna Stewart. And the thing was, they was like, well, all right, well, we're going to create our own league. We're going to pay the ladies significantly more than what they're getting in the WNBA. And then, in the first season, they came out and they played. But now this year, a lot of those young ladies didn't play. And that to me is it just shows more about it. Like if you played last year, and I'm not going to like call out any players or anything, but I think that if even if you didn't play last year, I think, and you wanted to get more money, if you were standing up there saying, "Pay us what you owe us," but you're not supporting this other league, this unrivaled league, as a female basketball player, then I think if things don't go your way in these negotiations, then you basically you get what you asked for, because here you have a league that was set up for you, even if you could just use this league as leverage, which would have been a smart thing to do. So all the young ladies who didn't play in this league, um, I think that if they wanted more money, if that's what your stance was, then you should have been playing in this league, the unrivaled league. But some people are not playing in this unrivaled league, so you can't use it as leverage, you know. And some of the players who didn't play in Unrivaled League, they may have been able to bring more fans to the Unrivaled League. Or maybe some of the fans be like, okay, I want to see, for instance, they might say, well, I want to see Asia Wilson play in this in this Unrivaled League, and they do the 3-on-3, right? I want to see how she do in this league. Not that, I'm not talking bad about Asia Wilson, but I just think that, it don't make them look good, and a lot of moves that these WNBA players made throughout this whole situation with the strike and the agreement, not the strike, but the agreement, collective bargaining agreement. They just didn't play it right. Like I said, it would have just made them have like a united front across the board, but it wasn't like that. And I think that the league saw what they were doing. You had different players coming out making different statements. When the league never really said anything about it. All the league said was like, look, we're going to offer them this amount. And they made the offer public, right? And so when people look at that offer, and and it's 4 times what they was already getting. So the public is going to be like, wow, that's okay. You know, the at least the league is trying, right? Now they came back and they made, I don't know what the offer was. I forgot what the players made an offer to the league, and it was just outrageous, or the league might have thought it was outrageous, and the league never even acknowledged the offer. So I think that, like these young ladies should have had a more united front. That way, a united front would have gave them more leverage. Number one. And then on top of that, what it would have did is it would have just let the league know that they were serious. But throughout this whole process, a lot of what these young ladies did, man, just didn't really help their case. So I'm curious to see like how it's going to play out as far as like what are they going to end up with? What deal are they going to end up with? Is the offer that the league put on the table, is that going to stand, or are they going to come back and lower that? Which I hope they don't. You know, and I think that if they go to strike, what's going to happen is going to hurt the league, and it's going to hurt the WNBA. But I don't think that the league is going to allow it to go to strike. I think the league is going to continue with their draft and everything. And then if they feel like these young ladies are going to strike, I think they probably going to bring in some other players, you know, especially with that pay bump. So if they vote to go to strike and the league say, well, all right, well, we're paying this, that's just like forfeiting your job. They just going to hire somebody else. So the WNBA, the players, they blew it. I don't think they're going to get any more offers from the league. The league know that they holding all the cards, and the WNBA players, they're going to go back looking real sad without any, they're going to probably get their raise, but they're not going to, they're just going to have to settle. They're going to have to settle and take, not just settle, but they're going to have to take the offer of what was put on the table the first time, because the league basically said, okay, this is, we're not really making any money. And so this is what's on the table. And now that I think about it, the counter offer that the players made, and I don't know the specifics, but they said that like if the league was to agree with that counter offer that the players made, it would cost the league, I think they said like $700 million. That is crazy, so it would cost the league, they would lose $700 million, on top of what they've already lost. I think last year they lost like 50 mil. And so this year it's going to jump all the way up to 700. So that's why the league never even acknowledged that offer, because they knew, you know what I mean? The league was like, this is just, it's just crazy. It's ridiculous. So yeah, man, it's not really looking good. It's not looking good at all. Not for the players anyway. So that's my take on it, man. I think they, just should just take whatever's on the table, take this deal that's on the table now. And if they're not happy with it, just go ahead and wait and just go to go back to the bargaining table. But what they really have to do is to show that they can, they can put a product out there that people want to see. And then they'll have leverage as far as being able to negotiate. But what they have now is that, like the league is, because of what's the young lady, Caitlin Clark, and a couple other players that has drawn attention to the league, and then they try to capitalize on that, but they fumbled that ball. So with that being said, man, y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to leave a comment, and I'll check you all out in the next video. Peace.